flight times, routes, turbulence, aircraft design, they're all changing because of human-caused climate change. The Earth's atmosphere is layered like an onion, and each one of these layers is changing in different ways. Dr. Paul Williams is a professor of atmospheric science at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom, and he's known for his research on climate change and air travel. His work on clear air turbulence is changing how the aviation industry forecasts and operates.
It's kind of got a magical property or mystical property about it because it's invisible, and that's why we call it clear air turbulence. You can't see it. Not even the radar on board an aircraft can see it. It's generated by a powerful air current called the jet stream predominantly, which can blow very quickly in the upper atmosphere, and it can become unstable. Something called a wind shear instability is the technical name for it. And all that means is that when the jet stream gets too fast, when the wind shear within the jet stream gets too strong, it can break down into turbulence.
And the wind shear is 15% stronger today than it was before the era of satellites.
And that's clearly because of human-caused climate change, changing the temperatures, and because the temperatures and the winds are very closely linked together by atmospheric laws, if you like, you can't change the temperatures without also changing the winds, and that's why the jet stream is changing.
Warmer air means planes generate less lift, creating more challenges at takeoff, and it means lightning is forecast to become more frequent. Headwinds and tailwinds are changing flight routes and journey times, and the aviation industry is having to adapt. Williams says today's airplanes were designed based on a turbulence model from the 1960s.
Now, of course, the atmosphere has changed since the 1960s. It's got a lot more turbulence in it. And I think there are questions there about whether the current certification standards are still correct.
Clear air turbulence is forecast every day using weather modeling and calculations. So while this is an invisible force, pilots can plan the smoothest flight routes using turbulence forecasts. The help these forecasts lend to planning flight routes and times will prove invaluable as turbulence increases over time. But even with the best forecasts, flyers will still experience more turbulence.
Of course, no one is ever injured by light, weak turbulence, but nervous flyers hate it. And so there's rightly some anxiety there around what the future holds. But even for people who don't mind a bit of turbulence, the really severe turbulence that does injure people and hospitalize people, and sadly, sometimes fatally.
Because of Dr. Williams' research, some airlines, like Southwest Airlines, are changing their food and beverage services to prevent the danger increased turbulence poses. For Climate Carolinas, I'm meteorologist Jenna Warner.